Hello and welcome to The Print. I'm Sudeep, and joining me today is Anil Swarup. Sir is a retired IAS officer who served as the School Education and Literary Secretary of India between 2016 and 2018. He's written a column for us regarding the NEET issue, the protests, and how to move forward now. You start your column with a very interesting observation of you moving from the coal ministry now to education. You say that, you thought you were moving from dark to light, but you found some darkness in the education ministry as well and India's education system. You talk about a mafia that operates. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you saw this mafia and how they contribute to paper leaks?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me correct you a bit. It was
Yes,
not
please.
some darkness. It was a bewildering darkness that I saw in
Okay.
education. I was, in fact, shocked. Shocked with many things, and there was not one mafia. There were a number of mafias, some
Okay.
better than the other. And the biggest mafia, which of course no one is discussing now, is the mafia of B.Ed and DLEd colleges. I've written a full chapter on how we attempted to take care of that mafia and came a cropper. The chairman NCT had actually to resign. That was one of the rare failures in my career, but I learned a lot from that. So that's one mafia. The
Yeah.
other mafia which I came across was the Nakal mafia, the Cogging mafia, which I first saw as a subdivisional magistrate way back in 1985 in my initial postings, where I couldn't believe what I was seeing, people running out of the examination hall, and I was wondering what's going on. It was my driver who told me that they had come here to assist in copying. And I was later informed that the schools are auctioned out for examination, auction out for copy. I mean, it was a shocker. So that was
Yeah.
second. Third was a publishing mafia,
Mm-hmm.
which I have also explained in my book. Fourth was, a group of private school mafias. And then, of course, there are these paper leak mafias, which were then also, I have written a full chapter on that. One of the leaks happened during the time when I was Secretary of School Education.
Yeah.
That was all itself a great education because I saw how such leaks should actually be handled. We stuck to our guns. The chairman CPSE was actually not shifted. And she was instrumental in putting in place a system which is lasting till date.
Yeah.
So I came to understand very clearly, and I was always of the view that transferring officers does not help. If an officer is at fault, he should be nailed. Action should be taken against him. But mere transferring him demoralizes the entire organization if that officer is not at fault. And that's why we insisted that Anita Karwal should not be transferred. And I'm glad we didn't. She went on to perform remarkably well, both as chairman CBSE and later as Secretary of School Education and Literacy.
Yeah. Um, you know, in the article, you mention a consistent issue. One that is these committees are formed, like the Nandan Nilekani committee that's been formed today, that they give out suggestions, which many are, good suggestions, but they don't move into the implementation stage. Why do you think that is, and what can the Nilekani committee do differently to make sure that doesn't happen?
First of all, the problem in this country is not prescription. What these committees do is provide prescriptions.
Yeah.
In the present instance, the prescription exists. There was a Radhakrishnan committee after the
Yeah.
2024 league. The first question to be answered is, what happened to those recommendations?
Yeah.
There's some excellent recommendations in that, including the one related to decentralization. Why is
Yes.
central government doing everything? There are other recommendations also, excellent recommendations. So what is the purpose of these committees? Let me clarify that the government needs to be complimented for constituting such a committee. I mean, all the people on board are absolutely amazing people. They are very competent people. And I'm sure they will come up with good recommendations, but
Yeah.
the action has to happen thereafter. So the problem is the action. I mean, if I just take it aside, there's no dearth of ideas in this country. I mean,
Yeah.
almost everyone seems to be having an idea. And as I often say, for any idea to fructify and sustain, it has to be politically acceptable,
Yeah.
socially desirable, technologically feasible, financially viable, administratively doable, judicially tenable, emotionally relatable, and environmentally sustainable. In the present instance, there are two aspects that are important. Was the administrative doability of an idea, and second is the emotional relatability. These are critical because I'm
Yeah.
sure these ideas will be politically acceptable, they would be socially desirable, technologically, when Nandan being there, it will be feasible. So everything will be there. The question is whether such ideas. Now, that is why I would suggest that whatever recommendation Nandan Nilekani gives, he should come up with a clear-cut action plan.
Yeah.
So what they are going to do is to provide a prescription of what, but they should also explain how would that be implemented, who would do it, and by when it will be done. Unless we have a clear-cut action plan, time-bound, I don't think these will be implemented.
Yeah.
As is the case with number. I mean, I have given another example which does not relate to education, but look at one of the most serious problems this country faces is unemployment. It's related to education, but unemployment. And you have an excellent report sitting in the government, prepared by the former cabinet secretary of the first NDA government, Mr. Prabhat Kumar, and nothing has happened on that. In fact, there's not even a discussion on that. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to get another set of recommendations. I mean, I don't think that's going to solve problems. We have enough of recommendations sitting here. I think we require political will to get down to business and get to implementing these recommendations. That is one. The second part, because to my mind, government has taken two major decisions. One is to set up this committee, and second, to pass a law which is considered to be more stringent than the previous one. Here again, the same problem. I mean, look at what's happened to the previous law. There was nothing wrong with that law. In fact, with all, it was so much touted getting the mastermind of the previous NEET leak in 2024. What happens? CBI files a report. There's no sufficient evidence. It is a clear indication that there was nothing wrong with the law. It was the executing agency. Now, if these agencies are busy settling political scores or helping in settling political scores, where will they find time to do such cases? So it's not a question of law or prescriptions. I think it's a question of making things happen, getting things moving on the ground. And for that, you require a bit of a will to get moving.
So another thing in the same vein, you say that something that can help sort of remove this roadblock at the center is decentralization of exams like the NEET. How do you propose, the government goes about it? In the article, you give the example of the UPSC and state exams done for employment in the government. Is that the model you recommend for NEET?
Absolutely. My contention is center should hold examination for central universities, for AIMS, whatever. Whatever is controlled by center. Why should center do it for the states? Center should, as against that, center should lay down broad guidelines, provide assistance to the states. Let them do it. I'm not saying that it's going to be perfect with that. But some states will do well, others will not do well. Right now, what is happening is centrally everything's gone wrong. So why should that happen? The center should trust the states, should assist the states, should partner with the states, should help the states. Let them do what they have to do. The whole present day system is built on total distrust. And my 38-year experience tells me that distrust is an enemy of good administration. You have to trust people. There would be people going wrong. You find a mechanism to nail them, but the whole system will not collapse, as in the present case. Everything seems to have collapsed.
So, there is, of course, another school of thought that says get rid of NEET altogether, just keep the school leaving exams, the board exams or the state board exams, use those as a parameter for instead of entrance exams.
No, there has to be. I mean, it is a very specialized entrance. It's not a general entrance to universities. You can say that for QET, the combined university entrance. You can say that that may apply to QET, but not to NEET. NEET is for a specific purpose, for a specialized area. So you'll have to call it NEET or whatever. You will have to have entrance exam. You can't do away with entrance exam. College examination numbers will not work there. And there are huge issues with college examination numbers also. I've written a separate chapter on that, how examination numbers are hiked by various boards. So I don't think that's going to help. NEET has to be there. Or you may call it some other name. But I think the conduct of it has to change.
So another thing to me that comes to mind when you talk about decentralization of NEET, where a certain exam is for the central universities and a certain exam for each state, would students then who want to apply to all of these universities write multiple exams? How would that work?
Right now also in the State Public Service Commission, they have certain criteria. You can't apply. Guy sitting here cannot apply for Tamil Nadu. So you can have a similar criteria. I mean, there's no rocket technology. You can work out a system. How can outsiders be accommodated? That's a very minor issue. The conduct of the examination is the real issue. Who shall be eligible for it can be debated, and you can come to conclusions as to who shall be eligible in which examination.
Yeah.
Right now in state public service commissions also they have a similar system. You can refine it further. I don't think that's a very major issue or should be a reason for not allowing states to do the examinations.
Fair, that's fair. In the article and in other interviews, you single out the work of Anita Karwal ma'am, and you even recommend that she lead the NTA. What have you observed in what she's done, especially with the 2018 CBSE leak? And, what can she do with the NTA in the future?
So first of all, let me lay out the fundamental principle that I have in mind when I recommend the name of Anita Karwal. My belief after my personal experience in civil service is that no matter how good a system you lay down, ultimately it is run by individuals.
Yeah.
If you don't have the right individuals running the show, no matter how good a system, it will go for a toss. So you have to have the right person. Now, why Anita Karwal? Because I had the occasion to watch her very closely at a time of crisis. I mean, it was truly admirable the way she conducted herself. It was even more admirable how she went about examining the whole process. I keep telling everyone, examination paper leak is not the final thing that is happening. There's a whole process of it. How the question bank is constructed, how the question paper is made, what is the selection of locations where examinations are held, the centers, where is the paper kept, she looked at the entire process and she corrected it in a manner that it's held good for so far. And then there was use of technology. For that, I don't have to say anything because Nandan is sitting there. He would know the best. But the point here is, if you don't look at the entire process, then we could be in trouble. For example, if you don't select the right centers, it's very important. That's where the examination happens. If you don't have that, like in case of NTA, they outsourced things.
Yeah.
You should outsource only if you must.
Yeah.
If there's no other option. That's what Radhakrishnan committee also says. They come up with very good recommendations. I'm sure the new committee will also look at those recommendations.
Yeah.
And one of the recommendations would be, what have you done to those recommendations? So Anita Karwal is one of the most outstanding officers that I had the pleasure of working with. And why I say that, she becomes the chairman NTA. She will set things right there. I don't even have to tell. You don't require a Nandan Nilekani committee for her. She would catch hold of all experts. I'll tell you my personal experience. When I became coal secretary, there was chaos. I didn't know anything about coal. But I knew how to get the right people on board. And that mattered. So a leader gets the right people, supports them, delegates, guides, assists. That's what he or she does. And I think Anita has all those qualities. She'll be able to do that. Instead of beating about the bush, just make her chairman NTA and you see what happens in NTA.
So you talk about selecting the right people. I'm sure the government has a criteria, but what do you think should be the criteria for the right person for the role? And where do you think
Very
the government
simple.
is going wrong?
Very simple. You ask a question, what are the credentials of the present chairman of NTA? And you'll find the answer.
Yeah.
If he had the credentials, why was he removed from UPSC?
Yeah.
And if he was removed from UPSC, why was he made chairman NTA? So clear, merit should be the criteria. Whether that person has leadership qualities. I keep repeating, it's not expertise in conduct of examination, mind you. I'm not even asking for that expert. I'm asking for a leader who can get an expert, because expertise can be outsourced. Attitude cannot be outsourced. Integrity cannot be outsourced. You have to have men of integrity who have positive attitude, who have a vision. These are the leaders that are going to deliver things on the ground. They will be able to engage experts. But if you have an expert sitting there who doesn't have the right integrity, who doesn't have the vision, then what will you do with this expertise? So I think most important is get the right leader sitting there to get things moving. This applies not merely to NEET or NTA. It applies to all the organizations in the government and even otherwise. Top people, even in the private sector, are not experts in that domain. They are leaders. And we have to get the right leaders with a clear objective in mind, no other consideration except merit. If that doesn't happen, no matter what you do with the system, you get another Nandanalini coming here, they will mess it up.
Speaking about leaders, the CJP protest sort of headline moment was when Dharmendra Pradhan resigned. Earlier in the interview, you also talk about how resignation is not a solution really to, fixing the problem. So what is your take on Mr. Pradhan's resign and who has replaced him?
I would refrain from commenting. It would be a political comment. I have written about Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan. I had the occasion to work with Mr. Prakash Javadekar. Till date, I don't know why was he shifted. A man with a vision, a man who listened, who encouraged disagreement, who used to work hard at details. I don't know why he was shifted. I mean, these are political decisions. I'm nobody to comment on that, whether the present one or the previous one. I would comment on bureaucrats. I know who bureaucrats are, who are good. That's why I take up Anita Karwal. Politicians, I have no understanding of politics, so I may be totally wrong.
Fair. But how do you think, having a good education minister impacts the bureaucrats that are working in the system?
Amazing. I mean, he total. I mean, I mean, Prakash Javadekar may not get all the credit for what he did, but it was his presence that made a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the signals. I use this term. There's an Urdu word called Iqbal.
Yeah.
Is the credentials is your that Iqbal से चलता है सरकार. वो Iqbal कौन create करता है? The minister. Minister doesn't do it himself. Minister doesn't have to run around. He has to provide support. He conveys messages. He provides comfort. He provides guidance. He protects the officers from the environmental pressure. This is very important for a leader.
Yeah.
Instead of interfering in what the person should do, he should provide some sort of a comfort to the officers working in. That's what Mr. Prakash Javadekar did. And that's why things happened during his time. So it's very critical who heads the department. No matter how good officer you bring below, if the head of the organization is not good, the organization will collapse. As I often say, Ayodhya Ramchandji se chalti hai, Khanaon se nahi chalti. You have to get the right Ramchandrjis to head each organization. Yeah. And that's where political decision making is important. You can't have a Gadha sitting in a department and someone elsewhere monitoring him every day, hitting a danda. You get a good horse sitting there, let him do his job, don't interfere every day.
Yeah.
That's what leadership is all about. Don't interfere in the job of a person who's good. But to begin with, get person who's good. If you get a person who's grossly incompetent, known for his incompetence, to sit there, he will have to resign someday.
Yeah.
If not today, tomorrow. He'll mess it up and then he'll go.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think, I think the takeaway from what you're saying essentially is get a good leader and make sure that they have an action plan to implement rather than.
Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. So I think this was a great session and you have great clarity of thought. Thank you for sharing that with us today and joining us.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thanks.